Video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to use the 3 brand new dies from John Next Door Christmas collection. The beautiful robin branch, the crystal flower slimline die and the holly slimline die to make this gorgeous sort of mantelpiece pleaser sparkling Christmas card with the beautiful image of the robin in the middle that you don't have to colour or paper piece or anything, just working with the white on gold or gold on white with that little bit of rose gold really works. So let's see how this card was made. So to make this beautiful mantelpiece pleaser Christmas card in white and gold, we're going to use the 3 new dies that were launched together, which is the JND541, which is the robin branch, the 529, which is this beautiful holly slimline die, and this gorgeous snow flower or snow crystal flower, which is JND531. And this is a smaller version on a plate of the crystal, the snow sort of crystal flower. And this can be used all year round as it's quite sort of simple, but it makes a beautiful sort of Christmas flower, and it makes a gorgeous sort of almost poinsettia, like a stylized one. And the slimline holly, if you watch the video for this one, you'll see how we actually use these little holes in here, how we can actually use those. But again, the idea is that this will fit through the smallest machines. So these will fit through your mini machines very easily and simply, meaning that you can cut lots and lots of your foliage or your flowers very quickly, just sort of on your lap if you want to in an evening. So we're going to start by cutting our robin. So I'm going to bring in now, I've got 2 scraps effectively, one of our gold waterfall glitter card and just one of coconut white. And I need to use both dies in this set for this one. So I'm going to use the larger die, which will give me the solid inside and then the outside rim. So it gives you an absolutely beautiful outside rim, which again, just on its own or coloured in the middle, it is stunning. And the solid white. So I'm using a scrap of card and put that down, and I'll run that through my machine. And this time I want to cut the really fine die and clean it out in the gold card. So I need to use a piece of sellotape to stick it to the card, because the normal low tack tape simply will not stick down to this. But this is a very, very fine die, and we want to make sure it cuts properly. So I bring in, I've got my A5 Crafts 2 metal shim. I bring that and put that underneath. I have one specifically for cutting into. And that means that I can take my base plate and I can pop that down. I can put my other robin down, and it means that the card is cutting into the metal plate, which helps when a die is finer. So I'm just going to pop my top plates on and we'll run that through and cut that. So that's gone through our die cutting machine. I'm going to show you our white piece, nice and easily cut. And you'll get from that beautiful rim, which can be used for other projects. It's great if you're wanting to inset this into another die as a stained glass window. And just take and ease that out. Make sure we get all of the pieces. You can see there you've got that beautiful rim, but you get a solid backer, which is absolutely perfect for going on top. So now we check, and you can see here, by using the metal shim, every single piece has cut through and really sort of broken down. So we can take our die off, just like this. Let's move our plates out of the way. And you can see here how easily that comes out, because we've used that metal plate underneath. I would really strongly recommend doing that. There we go. Let's just get these 2 bits out here. There we go. And then just take our 4-in-1 tool and release every bit. But you can see, even though this is normally a difficult card to cut, and of course our waterfall card is a non-shed, there is no glitter used in it, so you don't worry about any glitter getting anywhere at all. Even the little bits here, like the legs, will come out. So I cannot strongly recommend enough, if you're cutting something delicate, please use a metal shim underneath it, it really will make all of the difference in the world. So just taking the last few bits out of there. You notice those ones just emboss it in. So they're designed to just emboss it in. So there we have our beautiful white piece, and then our layer to go on top. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Clean down my desk, and I'm just going to use a little bit of spray glue to add these two together. And that's the easiest way I've found to do this. Make sure you give it a good coating of glue, or you can, if you don't want to use that, use glue glaze. And start at one end with the holly and work your way along, and you'll find it just wants to fit. That's what's so fantastic about die cutting, is everything wants to be exactly the same size every single time. So let's just move our leaves together, and again push them. So there we have that beautiful robin just there. And what I do for this, on the other projects I've used a sort of black pen to put the eye on, but I don't want to introduce any black to this, so I'm just going to take one of our small stick-on pearls and pop that in the place for the eye. If you are unsure of where to pop your eye, then you can take this section here, which is sort of the face, which you'd use for paper piecing, pop it down, make a little mark and pop your eye there. So if you're unsure, you can do that. So there we have our gorgeous finished white and gold robin, and even without colouring, he looks so realistic. So now we want to put our card together. So what I've done is I've already cut, so I've got my finished piece. I've already cut the holly, and I've already cut the flowers, and you'll see in the flowers you actually get a solid, and you get 3 solid, and you get 3 with the sort of little holes in them, sort of onlay piece. And I've cut these in rose gold in the waterfall glitter card and normal gold, and all I'm going to do is alternate them. And rather than layering them on top of each other, I've found the best way to do this is to actually put the open one on top, but I'm going to alternate colours. In fact, I'm going to grab another glue glaze, because I don't think I was getting quite enough out of that. Glue glaze is just an amazing product. It makes things so much quicker. So I'm going to put gold rotated onto rose gold, gold rotated onto rose gold, rose gold rotated onto gold, and the same again. So if you cut this twice, you'll use very little card, but it gives you enough really for 4 cards. And the little flowers, and you get 10 of these, I've just added a crystal in the middle of each. But here I've got the same, so I've got my 4 flowers there, my leaves and my little flowers. And I've also cut the die from the robin set twice, once in the rose gold and once in the normal gold, and again I used a metal shim under those. So those are all the pieces I need to sort of build this. So we need to bring in now the card that we're going to be doing this on. So what I've done is here I've used the brand new Twisting Snowflake die set to make me a frame, and I've just made the frame using white card and again some of the rose gold underneath. I've got 2 layers of foam tape here. So I've cut this almost like a frame maker. I actually used an outside press cut stitch dot square to sort of finish that one off. And we'll add that onto our larger card blank that's been cut at 7 by 7. So we'll glue that on, and we'll put that right in the centre with that gold in the middle there. So we're now going to take our bird, and obviously we want him to cross, and just crossing over like that, I think he looks beautiful. So what we want to do is we obviously want to stick him flat at the edges, so I'm going to use glue glaze on the edges, but in the middle we want it to be supported. So I'm going to use 3D glue gel by Craft Artist, and put a decent blob in the middle of the robin. So just making sure I've got enough there to support him completely. And then we're going to take him and put him across, gluing down the sides, and then gently push the robin in the middle so he's fully supported and floating in there. And then we can bring in our flowers and our leaves. So I'm going to start with my holly, and I can really start to sort of tuck that in. So I'm going to take my holly and just turn those onto the back. And each cut of this will give you 6 pieces of this beautiful little miniature holly spread. It's really is a gorgeous die. So glue glaze on the back. And I would do 3 pieces at once so they don't completely dry out. And you do get a left and a right with this, so the directions alter. And I'm just going to start to build out that beautiful branch. So as if we're sort of really, you know, giving the mixture of the holly, the smaller holly, and everything in there. So taking the next 3. And you can do this any way you want to, but it's better to put the robin down first, as obviously that gives you the right sort of basis. So I'm going to let that come over the top. There we go. I'm going to take this one out to there. Then I need to echo in that beautiful rose gold in the back. So I've got the 3 mini sweeping boughs that come with the robin. And I'm just going to add glue glaze down the centre of those. I'm working to tuck it all in. And then the same with the gold. And again, you can add as much or as little to this as you want to. I think because this is a sort of mantelpiece pleaser, it's really worth adding a real sort of genuine fullness onto it. You can see how the colours start to all pull together once we've, there we go, pulled them all together. And then I'm simply then going to add my flowers on. So for the flowers, to make sure they're well adhered, I'm going to use 3D glue gel, just a little bit. And down in this bottom, I'm going to put them in and tuck them round and put sort of 3 flowers in. Which is perfect with the gem. And then we're just going to add 1 at this little top point there, so it nicely balances across. And then with the smaller flowers, you can add those in just using your glue glaze. And I find the best way to do this is to use my pickup tool and a little bit of glue glaze, just so that we're keeping that sparkle. One colour, I want to put in the right colour because it's going on the gold, so let's get that in there. And it just gives you that little base and know exactly where to add those little bits of sparkling crystal. So we're going to add another one just up there to extend the design out. I think we need another one there. So work on your own aesthetic for this. of what actually works for you, and add as many or as few as you want to. But just adding those in adds that little bit more sparkle. And I think the thing with Christmas cards is, and certainly these sort of special ones, you want them to sparkle in the Christmas tree lights. You want them to catch attention, but you don't want it to be too over the top. But you can see there we have that beautiful twinkling, sparkling card with that gorgeous robin across the middle. For more ideas, hints, tips and inspiration, why not visit the John Next Door official face on Facebook.